ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Zee has been tracking Fiona, of course, joins us now live. Ginger, right off the bat, this is a dangerous storm, Category 4. Where's it headed next?
So now it's out over the open ocean water. It's kind of had a wobbly eye overnight, compressing a little bit and closing in. It's still a super tight storm, and we do anticipate that it's going to intensify even more in the next 24 to 48 hours, away from the United States, but close to Bermuda. And that's where we're going to see impacts. Rip currents and high surf here. But if you go to what Bermuda looks like, by Friday morning, they could be being lashed with a hurricane watch in place now. They have a tropical storm warning. They anticipate at least tropical storm conditions, if not hurricane, as it passes way too close for comfort. But see how that cold front pushes it away? And even from Canada, it's going to try to hug in there and get up closer to into the northeastern Canada, to those islands. But look at this. This is what we want you to focus on. Gaston, that's a fish storm. It's gone in the Atlantic. But there are 3 new areas off Africa. The one that's just north of South America, that's going to travel over Trinidad and Tobago. And the computer models have now widened a bit. Many of them were taking it due west into the Western Caribbean. But now that kind of cone and the spaghetti plots have become less certain. We have still 9 days or so. We're talking about that storm, which would be Hermine, if it gets named, being next Thursday, Friday, when we would be interested to see impacts to the United States. So we have a lot of time on this, but it's certainly the heart of hurricane season and something we don't want to forget about.
Yeah, those spaghetti models always stress me out. Ginger, while we've got you, really excited to talk to you about this. You've been working on a special on America's future, at least related to the climate. Tell us about it.
Right. So we're at this really critical turning point where our energy is changing. I mean, for more than a century, we've really only known one way. We've heated our homes, our cars, our industries. We've run them with fossil fuels. And that gave us freedom, but it also came at a cost. We know that now. The science tells us we have to change rapidly. But to do that, we need critical minerals like cobalt, lithium, nickel, things that we don't really make or mine a whole lot of here in the U.S. So in this special, we dive into the reality of, can we do it? Can we make the batteries here? And how are we going to recycle all of them?
Watch these drips here.
In the depths of this narrow, winding tunnel sits a vital mineral that could one day help power our renewable future.
It's red.
Yeah.
Tells you you're going deeper.
Outside that tunnel, the rolling Rocky Mountains of central Idaho, flanked by miles and miles of beautiful scenery. At this very moment, this land is just luxuriating in the lack of human interaction. Save that tunnel. The mud swallowing our boots.
Now you get your workout in.
Yeah.
Here, there is one goal.
You came here for the cobalt.
We came here for
There's
the cobalt.
cobalt in these hills.
Yeah, that's right.
Cobalt is an ancient material that is now breathing new life inside this mountain.
It's like choose your own adventure.
Cobalt has been mined in this area for a century, starting in the 1940s to build jet engines during the Cold War.
Stand clear of jet intakes and jet exhausts. All go aircraft.
Cobalt is now deemed critical by the U.S. government. It is one of 50 considered essential for the U.S. economy and national security.
Without these minerals, we simply cannot function.
Cobalt, so integral here, there was an entire town named for it.
This wide open field running along Panther Creek used to be the town of Cobalt. There used to be 250 people living here. Grocery store, school, dance hall, even a movie theater. Now, from the 1950s through the 1980s, the people that lived here mostly worked at the mine, the Blackbird mine. But now it's a stark reminder of just how transient mining can be.
Follow this winding creek up the mountain from what was the town of Cobalt, and you'll find the mine where it all began, Blackbird.
What am I looking at?
So that is the former open pit.
Okay.
That's what we would refer to as kind of surface mining.
From the early 1900s to the early 80s, Blackbird was ground zero for cobalt mining in the United States, and surface mining, a practice involving an open pit to gather and mine cobalt. That was commonplace at the time and hardly regulated.
The federal government actually asked for the mine to happen and produce, and so corners were cut to be able to produce that cobalt.
Both above the surface and below, water flowed over these exposed metals and then carried the toxic material into nearby streams. No one mines here anymore, haven't since 1982. And a decade after the mine shut down, the EPA proposed adding this site to a list of the most contaminated places in the country. Now, Blackbird has a new owner, Canadian-based mega mining company Glencore.
We still have an environmental obligation.
The legacy of environmental contamination and destruction from Blackbird is well known.
We've had local populations of salmon go extinct from the impacts from mining.
Wow. Cobalt mining as well?
From cobalt mining specifically.
Was Blackbird the site?
It was.
After decades of work, the streams are just now recovering. And here's the wild part. Just on the other side of that historic cobalt blunder sits what could be the future of domestic cobalt mining, with a company called Jervois.
There's actually an amazing supply of critical minerals in the eastern central part of Idaho. Idaho has one of the best known mineralizations of cobalt in the world in what's called the Idaho Cobalt Belt.
In 2019, the U.S. produced roughly 500 tons of cobalt, but that wasn't from direct cobalt mining. It was just a byproduct of other mined material. But now, as the need for EVs and battery storage soar, we need significantly more cobalt. Jervois believes that they can quadruple domestic production to 2,000 tons of cobalt each year. But that is still only 10% of our country's demand.
What we'll do at the end is all of this gets filled. We cap that portal. We put the slope back. We can revegetate it, and nobody will ever know it was here.
This new Jervois project will be the only mine in the United States exclusively focused on cobalt, the first in our country in almost 30 years.
So in we go.
At first, it's just a distant hum. Beyond that vent that carries the diesel fumes out of the mine, it gets eerily quiet until...
What they're doing here is like a lab.
Well, it is. It is a little bit. It's an opportunity for us to learn more about our ore body.
It takes a lot to do this. This is not easy.
It's not easy, and it's really technical.
What we're seeing, it's still worth it to go in there and get it, right?
Absolutely.
Because cobalt, especially now, has had such a rise.
It has had a rise. It's a really volatile metal just because of the way the market works, but it has had a rise. We believe it's going to continue to be in demand.
It is a fascinating adventure to kind of navigate this labyrinth of tunnels. They anticipate 40,000 feet of tunnels when they're done. And they're thinking they're going to find enough cobalt to help power and create 2.8 million electric vehicle batteries.
The demand for electric cars and better batteries is hotter than ever, making minerals like cobalt highly in demand around the globe.
More than 2/3 of the world's supplies of cobalt comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo. China has been very strategic in working with partners in the Congo to secure the rights to those mines. They currently own 15 of the 19 cobalt-producing mines in the DRC. There have been a lot of reports of child and forced labor in the DRC as well.
An urgent reminder that we need to do it right and do it here. This is a rare issue that is uniting both parties. Relying on companies like Jervois and oversight from state and federal governments to do it better this time around.
These kind of technological advances make a real difference in how we're able to, in a socially responsible way, extract minerals from the earth.
The Jervois mine has permits from the state of Idaho, the EPA, and the U.S. Forest Service. They all found that Jervois' plans for treating their wastewater and restoring the area when the mine closes will minimize, but not completely eliminate, the harm to the environment.
I think we have a responsibility to continue to do what's challenging. You know, we don't do this because it's easy. We actually do it because it's incredibly hard, and we want to see it done right.
So you need 9 more Jervois to even reach the amount of just cobalt that we need today. And that number is going to keep going up. Every cell phone, every laptop, and all the EVs to come are going to need these critical minerals. There are also huge advancements in technology helping us to look at different ways to do lithium batteries. Solid state. In this special, you will see us talk to a Princeton University scientist who is hoping to get the size of a battery for an EV that you could fit in your hands. That's going to change the world.
Yeah, that absolutely will. Ginger Zee, thank you so much. Really look forward to watching this. We want to tell our viewers how they can do that. You can see more of what Ginger just showed you, this cobalt mine, 15,000 feet down in the Pacific Ocean on Lit America's Future, streaming now on Hulu.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.